The average sale price in the Portland metro area rebounded for the second week in a row. It was up for the second week in a row. Could this be signs of a trend that's forming? There are some factors out there that may say, yeah, that's the case. And I'll get into those a little bit later, along with a couple of predictions, not just for the national real estate market, but for the Portland metro area specifically. I'm Ron Milligan with RE/MAX Select here in Portland's Pearl District, and as always, I've got the weekly market update for the full Portland metro area. That's Portland, all the bedroom communities, Vancouver, Southwest Washington, all done together. First up, let's go through some of the key statistics. The first one is the average sale price, which I mentioned is up now for the second week in a row. It's up 3.5% compared to last week. However, it is down 1.6% compared to the average sale price during roughly the same time period last year. The difference is this number is really low compared to the negative numbers we were seeing earlier on this month. 12.8% one week, that's minus 12.8%, minus 9% the following week, minus 8% last week. But now they moderated pretty significantly down to 1.6% lower than where we were last year at this time. The median sell price did fall by 2% compared to the previous week. However, the gap between last year and this year did close up a little bit. It went from around 6.5% last week to 5.7% this week. Well, why is this happening? Buyer demand is up. For 3 weeks now, we've had pretty strong buyer demand. It's down slightly from where it was the week before, but we've been in kind of this 520 new transactions to 560 over the past 3 weeks. And of course, the demand, this increased demand, is likely fueled by the lower interest rates we've been seeing over the last 3 weeks. By the way, I just checked the interest rates this morning. They went from 5.5% yesterday down to 5.375% for the 30-year fixed as of this morning. Today, by the way, is Thursday the 2nd, and that number changes all the time, so reach out to me if you want to know exactly where we are at any given point. Number of homes sold is up slightly from last week, and of course last week was a holiday week, shortened week, fewer days to record transactions, so not a surprise that the number is higher than it was last week, even though this looks like a pretty modest number. Number of days on market actually moderated a little bit, went down 4% to 51 days on market, and the inventory continues to slide. Down 3% from the previous week. We're at 3419. This has been a steady decrease in the number of homes available for buyers to purchase for over 3 months now. So why do I think there might be a trend forming in the average sale price? Well, a couple of things. Take a look at these two graphs. The top one is the number of homes that have been selling week after week. And you can see that these numbers right now through the month of January are really low. 224, 277, 227, 267, and those are the deals that went under contract in November and December. November and December, those were pretty rough months for sellers, great months for buyers. We saw a lot of situations where buyers were really holding the sellers' feet to the fire when they were negotiating their transactions, and they got great deals. And we're seeing the results of that in the average sale prices that were really low this year compared to last year, and even compared to where we were in November. Buyer demand was really low November, December because interest rates were high. We hit a peak interest rate of over 7% back in November. And now we're seeing the opposite of that with interest rates sliding down to the mid-5s. The other side of what I think has happened is the number of new pending deals has gone up. So buyer demand has gone up as these interest rates have gone down. I've mentioned in the last couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, that we'd started seeing multiple offers on homes that were priced right and were move-in ready. You didn't have to do anything to those homes. You just slipped right in and unpacked your bags, and there you were. And those deals that went under contract in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th weeks of January are the deals that we're going to start seeing closing in February, and maybe that dynamic moderating or even shifting a little bit. There are also 3 other factors that I just have in mind as I'm looking at this. One, we're seeing this week, we saw the days on market come down a little bit. 2, we saw a reduction in the number of price reductions. The third thing that I did see was an increase in the average sale price compared to the original list price. That increased now for the second week in a row, and that's a number that had been declining week after week after week really, really steadily. So that's one of these other factors that I'm kind of watching that suggests that things might be moderating a little bit. And the sharp plunge that we saw in January for the average sale price might be moderating or turning back around. So I mentioned at the start of the video that I do have 3 market predictions for the Portland metro area specifically. So the first one we'll start with is realtor.com. So realtor.com in their 2023 housing forecast came up with a list of the 100 hottest markets out there. In this one, Portland came in at around 87. I'm okay with that. It's not great, it's not terrible. At least we made the list, the top 100. And what they think was going to happen in our market is that we're probably going to see a decrease in the volume of sales by about 10.7%. At the same time, we're probably going to see prices up by 3.9%. This year versus last year. That might be a little bit rosy. They're definitely at the top end of what we've been seeing from a lot of analysts, but keep in mind this is only about Portland's market specifically. The next one we're going to look at is from Zillow. And if you can take a look at this map, you can see that the green spots, the green counties on the map are areas that they're expecting to see increases in the average sale price, and this kind of pink towards red are areas where they're expecting to see declines. So for the Portland metro area, and they're looking at Portland, Vancouver, and Hillsborough, they're expecting that prices are going to be down 3.1%. One thing that I think is kind of interesting here is I saw there was a little speck of green next to us, which was Longview, and they have Longview up by 2.5% in their average sale price. And that'll be interesting as we look at this next map, which is from Moodys. Moodys Analytics. Remember, we saw this map, I want to say, somewhere in the third quarter of last year, and at that time they had a very moderate prediction for our market, and they have changed since then. Now they're predicting that in 2023 we're going to see a decline in our average sale price in the Portland metro area, again Portland, Vancouver, Hillsborough, of 6.03%. So the average sale price is going to be down 6.03% versus the previous year. What I thought was interesting, and the reason I pulled Longview out, is because in this map, Moodys has Longview down 7% versus Zillow, which had it up 2.5%. If you get 1,000 analysts in a room, you're going to have 1,000 different predictions. So this is just a bit of a survey of some that I was able to find. And as always, if I find more, I'll bring it to you here. If you're curious about a specific metro area or city or county, and what Moodys or Zillow has predicted, or realtor.com, just drop a comment down below and I will look up the numbers and post them down below for you. So that's what I have for this week. It was great that you joined me for the video, and thank you as always for watching to the very end. As always, I'd love a thumbs up, and if you haven't followed, please follow this channel. And if you know of someone who might find this information helpful or calming or informative, please share this video with them. I would love it if you would do that. And since we're at the end of the video, as always, all real estate is local. We have markets inside markets inside markets. And if you're curious about what's going on specifically in your area, your neighborhood, your municipality, or even your own condo complex, just feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to share what we know and do a bit of research for you. All right, we'll see you next week.